Hello and welcome to the Discriminating Gamer, the board game review show that recently sued the airport over my misplaced luggage. I lost my case. Ladies and gentlemen, today we're going to go ahead and take a look at Unmatched, Cobble Fog from Mondo Games and Restoration Games. In Unmatched, Cobble Fog from Restoration Games and Mondo Games, 2 to 4 players take on the roles of various fictional characters in Victorian England. There's Count Dracula, there's Jekyll and Hyde, there's the Invisible Man, and then of course there's that kooky Sherlock Holmes. Now, each of these characters has some specific rules and sidekicks. For instance, Jekyll and Hyde, he can transform from Jekyll and Hyde for different advantages as he's in either form. You've got Sherlock Holmes, who's got a sidekick of Watson. You've got Count Dracula, he's got his sidekicks of the Vampire Brides. And then you have the Invisible Man, who has various fog tokens that help him out throughout the game. Now, the game board is either a map of the London streets or a manor house. You have various spaces connected to other spaces. These are adjacent. And then you have these spaces grouped into various zones. Sometimes some spaces can be in multiple zones. Each character will have a health dial. You'll set it to their initial health value. And each player will draw 5 cards from their own unique deck. Each player can take 2 actions on his turn. You can take 2 of the same actions or 2 different actions. But there are 3 basic actions you have to choose from. Now, the first thing you can do is maneuver. You must draw a card when you maneuver, bringing your hand size, increasing your hand size, but you are capped at 7 cards. Secondly, within the maneuver action, you can move one of your heroes up to his movement speed. You can move him that number of adjacent spaces. Now, you don't have to move them, but you can. The second action is Scheme. Some of your cards will have schemes on them. You can play a scheme card for special abilities and to play dirty tricks on your opponents. And finally, there is an attack action. If you are adjacent to another character, you can go ahead and play a melee attack. But if you are anywhere in the same zone, you can play a ranged attack. Now, during an attack, the attacker must choose one of the cards from his deck, and the defender may also choose a card. But you go ahead, you reveal the cards simultaneously if the defender chooses to enact one, and then you're going to go ahead and compare the information on the cards. Some of the cards will have kind of an immediately effect, a during combat effect, or an after a combat effect, and you're going to go ahead and have to do whatever those effects are during the course of combat. So when the attacker plays a card, the defender is going to lose that number of health from their health dial. However, if the defender played a defense card, then you subtract the difference, and that is what they are going to lose, assuming the attacking player has a greater number on his attack card. Now, once a specific hero's health value goes all the way down to 0, he is removed from the game. Now, once you succeed in reducing all of your opponent's health value to 0, and those heroes are defeated, then you win Unmatched, Cobble Fog. So that's just a basic overview of the game. As I say, the various characters have different special abilities with their sidekicks and some other tricks that they have. Now, this is one in a series or other Unmatched games. I have not played any of them. This is the first Unmatched game that I have played. Also, too, you can play it as a kind of one-on-one. You can also play 2v2. I've only played the 2-player version of the game, or pardon me, the 2v2 player version of the game. I really liked it as a team game. I thought that was kind of a fun way to play it. But I haven't played the one-on-one. I think that would probably be fun, too. This is a brawler. This is a game where you're just essentially trying to maneuver to the best position you can to attack your enemy, to reduce them and reduce their health as much as you can. And in as much as it is that, it succeeds quite well. I really enjoyed the various cards. I mean, obviously there's a lot of luck when you've got cards and you know someone's coming after you and you don't have the defense cards to play, because of course you do have to have the symbols that match what you're trying to do. And if you don't have those cards, you're kind of screwed. So there is a healthy dose of luck here, but it is fun because this is a game that is loaded with spice and sugar, and that's what keeps it from being kind of mundane. If you've got, you know, a lot of these cards have special, like I say, special abilities. The scheme cards have a lot of fun things that pop up. Like I say, you can play a lot of dirty tricks on your opponents. And why this game works for me is because it is so mean. Because you can never quite know what's going to happen. You can plot a strategy, but it's only going to work so far because there's a lot of random things, seemingly random things that can pop up that can throw a roadblock at you. Now, this is not a very long game. If this were a very long game, I probably would. You know, if this were a 2-hour plus game, I don't think it would wear out its welcome really quickly. But for the length of time the game plays in, and for what the game does, I think it's actually very fun. My friends and I had fun with this game, and you know, if you like brawlers, if that's something you're interested in, if you like those close combat with kind of card combat, I think you'll get a kick out of this one. Recommendation from the Discriminating Gamer for Unmatched, Cobble Fog. Buy it. Thank you once again for joining us today on The Discriminating Gamer. As always, we ask you to please leave a comment for us on YouTube, on Board Game Geek, on our Facebook page, or on thediscriminatinggamer.com. We ask you to please like us on Facebook, subscribe to us on YouTube, and follow us on Twitter. We are The Discriminating Gamer, and I got to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, my whole life I've had a fear of speed bumps, but I'm slowly getting over it.
Please somebody help me on my feet again, and I don't know where I'm going, and I don't know where I've been. Please somebody help me on the solid ground. It's a long time, and I'll be dying. Once a year I wind up in the band.
4 or 5. I don't get it. I don't win. So I go back to my ship. Hey!